There is a force moving inside every human being, a silent, invisible current that shapes the rise and fall of dreams, empires, destinies. It is not money, it is not luck, it is not intelligence. It is emotion, the quiet river of feeling flowing beneath every thought, every decision, every action. And for almost all, it is the unseen hand that leads them not to triumph, but to failure. Not because they are weak, not because they are cursed, but because they have never learned to command the storm within. They are ruled by fear when they should act with courage. They are paralyzed by doubt when they should move with conviction. They are seduced by comfort when they should chase the fire of greatness. And so they fall, quietly, predictably, silently retreating into smaller and smaller lives until the flame of possibility flickers out and only regret remains. You must understand this truth. The first victory must always be over yourself. Before you can conquer a market, a mountain, a mission, you must conquer your own emotions. Before you can lead others, you must lead yourself. Before you can master the outer world, you must first master the inner one. Most people never do. They let fear whisper in their ear and call it wisdom. They let anger poison their focus and call it passion. They let sadness drain their energy and call it realism. They let temporary emotions create permanent decisions. Decisions that shrink their future, poison their potential, and sabotage the destiny, waiting just beyond their resistance. You must not be most people. You must see emotions for what they are. Messengers, not masters. Signals, not sovereigns. You must feel them, acknowledge them, but never bow to them. Because every time you bow to an emotion instead of commanding it, you give away a piece of your power. And success is built only by those who gather every fragment of their power, forge it into will, and drive it toward a vision bigger than their feelings. Feelings are fleeting. Vision must be eternal. Feelings are weather. Vision must be climate. Feelings are momentary storms. Vision is the unshakable mountain standing unmoved by 1,000 tempests. The champions you admire, the giants whose names endure, they were not unfeeling. They were simply unwilling to let feelings dictate their future. When fear gripped Abraham Lincoln before facing a divided nation, he moved anyway. When Thomas Edison faced ridicule and failure again and again, he experimented anyway. When Helen Keller faced a world wrapped in darkness and silence, she learned to speak anyway. They felt the emotion, but they chose the mission. They felt the fear, but they chose the fight. They felt the despair, but they chose the dream. And so must you. You must build a mind that can sit calmly inside the chaos. You must forge a spirit that can walk straight through the fires of feeling without being burned. You must develop the ability to act based on principle, on purpose, on power, not on the shifting sands of mood and moment. Because life will never stop throwing emotions at you. Fear, when you are about to risk everything. Anger, when someone betrays you. Doubt, when the road stretches farther than you can see. But you must decide here and now that emotions are information, not commands. You listen, you learn. And then you lead, not the other way around. Because the alternative, the path most people choose, is the slow death of potential. It begins with one small surrender. One opportunity missed because fear whispered louder than purpose. One conversation avoided because discomfort shouted louder than courage. One risk not taken because the ghost of past failure screamed louder than the whisper of future success. And over time, those small surrenders build walls around their lives, until one day they look around and realize they have caged themselves with invisible bars made of their own emotions. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of standing alone, fear of trying and finding out they are not enough. And so they stay where it feels safe, even if safe means small, even if safe means suffocating. You must not stay safe. You must not stay small. You must not let your feelings become your fate. Because your destiny is too important to be decided by a temporary mood. Because your future is too sacred to be sacrificed to a fleeting fear. Because the life you were born to build demands a spirit that commands emotions, not one that crumbles beneath them. Every dream you carry is fragile in the beginning. It is vulnerable. It is delicate. And if you let fear hold the steering wheel of your life, your dreams will crash before they even learn to fly. But if you master your emotions, if you feel the fear and move anyway, feel the doubt and build anyway, feel the anger and forgive anyway, then you become unstoppable. Because then your actions are no longer slaves to the moment. They are soldiers of your mission. Because then your focus is no longer shattered by every shifting wind of feeling. It is sharpened into a weapon that cuts through chaos and carves a path to victory. Because then your life is no longer defined by how you feel. It is defined by what you choose. And choice, not chance, not emotion, not circumstance, is the raw material from which all greatness is built. You must become the master of choice. You must become the architect of your own emotions. You must build a mind so disciplined that even when your heart trembles, your hand does not waver. You must teach yourself to act based on your deepest values, not your passing moods. You must teach yourself to move based on your clearest vision, not your darkest doubts. You must teach yourself to live based on who you are becoming, not how you feel right now. Because feelings are liars. Because feelings are fleeting. Because feelings unmastered will betray you at the gates of your own destiny. You must choose higher. You must act stronger. You must build deeper. You must become the captain of your soul, not the captive of your emotions. Because once you master yourself, no external force can ever truly master you again. The storms will rage. The world will tremble. The winds will howl. But you will stand, unshaken, unyielding, unstoppable, because you will have built something that feelings cannot touch and circumstances cannot break. The mind of a master, the heart of a warrior, the spirit of a legend, and that is the real secret most never discover. It is not what happens to you that defines you. It is how you rise beyond how you feel that defines you. And now your real journey begins. There will come a time again and again when you feel everything inside you pulling you backward. Fear whispering, stay small. Doubt murmuring, play safe. Anger screaming, strike blindly. And it is precisely in these moments when emotions rage like storms inside your chest that destiny watches you most closely. Because greatness is not born in perfect conditions, it is revealed in chaos. It is easy to act when the mind is clear. It is easy to move forward when the sky is blue and the sea is calm. But champions are not measured by how they perform when it is easy. They are measured by how they rise when the night falls hardest, when the winds of emotion howl loudest, when the weight of doubt crushes the ribs and hope feels like a dying ember. The weak allow emotion to dictate their actions. The strong allow principle to dictate their actions. The weak wait to feel brave before they move. The strong move and bravery follows. The weak wait for motivation to strike like lightning. The strong act with discipline until momentum itself becomes their thunder. You must decide what commands you, fleeting feelings or unyielding vision. Because if you wait until you feel ready, you will wait forever. If you wait until you feel brave, you will remain trapped. If you wait until you feel certain, you will watch life pass you by. Action precedes clarity. Action precedes confidence. Action precedes emotional stability. You do not think your way into mastery, you act your way into it. You move despite the fear. You build despite the doubt. You act despite the trembling hands and racing heart. Because action is the hammer that shatters fear. Because action is the blade that slices through uncertainty. Because action is the fire that consumes hesitation and forges momentum. And momentum, not emotion, is the true ally of greatness. It does not matter how small your first step is. It does not matter if you stumble. It does not matter if you are terrified. It matters only that you move. Because the greatest enemy of resilience is not fear, it is stagnation. It is standing still while emotions pull you deeper into doubt. It is freezing while the mind invents horrors that reality could never match. Motion destroys the illusions of fear. The mind can invent 1,000 fears in stillness, but the body moving forward cuts through them all. You must become the kind of person who moves without permission from emotions. You must train yourself to act with integrity even when you feel doubt, to speak with conviction even when you feel fear, to build with precision even when you feel chaos swirling around you. That is self-mastery. That is emotional command. That is the seed of every empire, every masterpiece, every revolution that ever changed the world. You must rise above the noise of the moment and move in obedience to your vision, not your emotions. Feel the fear and move anyway. Feel the doubt and build anyway. Feel the anger and choose discipline anyway, because the future belongs to the disciplined, not the emotional. The future belongs to those who understand that the storms within are part of the journey, not signs to turn back. No great work has ever been built without weathering internal storms. No great life has ever been lived without conquering the emotional battles that rage behind the eyes and beneath the skin. And every battle you win inside yourself every time you act. When feelings say to freeze every time you persist. When emotions scream to quit, strengthens the roots of your destiny. The deeper the roots, the higher the reach. You must root yourself in principle, not mood. You must root yourself in clarity, not confusion. You must root yourself in vision, not in volatile emotion. And clarity. True clarity is born through decision, not delay. Waiting for feelings to guide you to clarity is like waiting for a river to stay still enough to build a house on it. You must build anyway. You must decide anyway. You must plant your feet in the soil of discipline and refuse to be moved by the passing winds of feeling. Because emotions change, feelings shift. But your vision, your purpose, must remain anchored beyond their reach. You must build your life like a lighthouse, standing tall through the tempests, unmoved by the waves that crash at its base. The lighthouse does not wait for calm seas to shine. It shines because the seas are wild. It shines because the night is dark. It shines because that is its nature. So must you. You must shine when it is hard. You must act when it is painful. You must build when it feels hopeless. Not because the emotions say you should, but because your mission demands it. That is how the masters live. That is how legends are born. The great minds, the builders of empires, the breakers of limits. They were all tempted to surrender to emotions. They were tempted by fear before every major leap. They were tempted by anger when betrayal struck them. They were tempted by despair when dreams crumbled. But they refused to be ruled by emotion. They refused to let feelings crown their failures. Instead, they crowned themselves with clarity, with consistency, with relentless forward motion. And in doing so, they built lives that still echo through history. You must do the same, because emotions uncontrolled are prisons. They lock you inside yourself. They chain your potential to the ground. They blind you to the mountains you were meant to climb. But emotions, commanded emotions harnessed to your will, become fuel. They become fire under your steps. They become force behind your words. They become power in your purpose. You must turn your emotions from masters into servants. You must channel fear into preparation. You must channel anger into focus. You must channel sadness into wisdom. Because emotions are energy, and energy, when directed with discipline, can move worlds. You have that energy inside you now. You have the fire. You have the storms. You have the chaos. But the choice remains. Will you be controlled by it, or will you command it? Will you be ruled by the temporary turbulence of feeling, or will you rise above it, anchored in vision, marching by choice? Building a life so strong that no emotion, no circumstance, no betrayal can tear it down. The answer is not found in feeling. It is found in decision. It is found in motion. It is found in the relentless building of a spirit that acts not when it feels like it, but because it is called to it, because destiny demands it, because your life is too precious, your purpose too vital to leave in the trembling hands of untrained emotion. You must rise, not when you feel ready. Now, because feelings may fade, but destiny waits for no one. There is a deeper loyalty you must build inside yourself. A loyalty greater than to your feelings, a loyalty greater than to your fears, a loyalty even greater than to your comfort. It is loyalty to your higher self, loyalty to the vision of who you are becoming, loyalty to the future that only you can build. Because emotions will lie to you. They will beg you to trade what you want most for what you want now. They will offer you the sweet poison of immediate relief in exchange for the slow death of your destiny. You must refuse. You must stay loyal not to the emotions of the moment, but to the life you are forging. Discipline is that loyalty in action. Discipline is the bridge between your vision and your reality. Discipline is the muscle that moves you when motivation is gone. Discipline is the sword that cuts through the thick fog of emotional confusion and carves a clear path forward. Without discipline, emotions will rule you. With discipline, you will rule emotions. Every day you must choose to act when you feel like waiting. Choose to build when you feel like breaking. Choose to believe when you feel like doubting. Because discipline is not something you feel, it is something you do. Discipline does not negotiate with feelings. It moves with purpose. It says, I know you're scared, we move anyway. I know you're tired, we build anyway. I know you're uncertain, we lead anyway. And over time, as discipline deepens, you stop waiting for emotions to align with your dreams. You act and emotions eventually follow. You move and confidence grows from action. You build and clarity crystallizes from commitment. Because the mind is not a master to be obeyed without question. It is a muscle to be trained by consistent, conscious action. And the more you act from discipline, rather than feeling, the more you rewire your mind for greatness. You begin to teach yourself that discomfort is not a stop sign, that fear is not a command, that sadness is not destiny. You teach yourself that pain is the price of progress, not the proof of failure. You teach yourself that the ability to keep moving under emotional fire is the real currency of champions. Because it is easy to act when you feel inspired. It is powerful to act when you feel nothing but resistance. It is easy to believe when everything is going right. It is powerful to believe when everything is falling apart. It is easy to move when the road is smooth. It is powerful to move when the ground crumbles beneath your feet and you step forward anyway. That is the spirit you must forge. That is the soul you must sculpt. The soul of a warrior who moves not because the emotions say it is safe, but because the mission says it is necessary. The soul of a builder who creates not because the world applauds, but because their destiny demands it. The soul of a champion who endures not because they feel strong, but because they refuse to surrender. This is the mastery few achieve. This is the command that separates the legends from the forgotten. You must train for it like your life depends on it, because it does. You must build rituals of discipline that anchor you when emotions rise like hurricanes. You must build habits that protect you when motivation fails you. You must build systems that move you when your mind screams to stop. Because emotional mastery is not built in the grand moments of public success. It is built in the quiet, lonely moments when no one is watching and you move anyway. It is built in the mornings you rise with lead in your chest and you act anyway. It is built in the nights you feel hollow and you build anyway. It is built in the moments you could quit and you choose instead to stand even taller. Every act of discipline, every decision to move despite emotion is a brick laid in the unbreakable fortress of your future. And that fortress is what will protect your dreams from the storms to come. Because storms will come. You will face betrayal. You will face heartbreak. You will face fear, doubt, exhaustion. And if you are ruled by emotion, the storms will sink you. But if you have mastered yourself, the storms will only strengthen your roots. Every great life is built underground, first in the silent battles no one sees. You are fighting those battles now. You are building those roots now. You are planting a future so powerful that no emotion, no rejection, no defeat can ever uproot it. But only if you refuse to surrender to the moods of the moment. Only if you refuse to let feelings write the story of your life. Only if you choose every day, every hour, every breath to live by the standard of your highest self, not your lowest emotion. The world does not reward the most emotional. It rewards the most resilient. The world does not honor the ones who felt like it. It honors the ones who built even when they didn't. The world does not remember those who quit because they were afraid. It remembers those who were afraid and moved anyway. And now it is your turn. Your turn to stand taller than your fear. Your turn to speak louder than your doubt. Your turn to build stronger than your pain. Your emotions are not your identity. Your emotions are not your destiny. They are the weather and you are the sky. They are the waves and you are the rock. They are the storms and you are the mountain that will not be moved. But only if you choose it. Only if you command it, only if you live it. Because no one is coming to save you from your emotions. You must become the savior of your own future. You must become the master of your own soul. You must become the kind of force that moves not because you feel powerful, but because you know you are powerful. Not because you feel ready, but because you decide you are ready. Not because you feel fearless, but because you choose to rise even while your heart races and your legs tremble. That choice, that single sacred choice made over and over again, is the real secret, the real key, the real weapon, the weapon that most will never forge, the weapon that will make you unstoppable, the weapon called unbreakable emotional command. And now you stand at the threshold of becoming. Will you choose it? Will you rise above the feelings that have chained you? Will you step into the storm not with fear, but with fire? Because your future, the life you are meant to live, it waits on the other side of this choice. Now, not tomorrow, not someday now. Rise, move, command, conquer. The world is waiting to see who you truly are. There is a war inside you, not a war against the world, not a war against others, a war against the part of you that still believes. Emotions are stronger than destiny. The part that believes fear is more real than faith. The part that believes pain is more permanent than purpose. The part that believes sadness can drown out vision. That war is real, and it is won or lost not once but every single day. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, every time you choose motion over hesitation, every time you choose to build your dreams instead of bowing to your emotions, you win. Every time you rise when your mind screams for surrender, you win. Every time you choose to lead yourself instead of being led by fear, you win. The victories may seem small, invisible to others, hidden inside choices so quiet they barely make a sound. But make no mistake, these invisible victories build an invincible life, because every empire is first built, brick by hidden brick. Every legend is first forged, decision by silent decision. Every destiny is first claimed by the unseen, daily conquest of emotion by purpose. You must become the quiet warrior of your own life, the one who moves without applause, the one who believes without guarantee, the one who endures without visible reward. Because you know deep in your bones that greatness is not built in the visible, it is built in the invisible. It is built in the discipline no one sees. It is built in the patience no one applauds. It is built in the faith that burns silently, in the furnace of unseen struggle. The world will see your success one day, but they will never see these battles. They will never see the mornings you rose with dread sitting heavy in your chest and moved anyway. They will never see the nights you built in silence while fear screamed louder than thunder and built anyway. They will never see the days you chose focus when chaos begged for your attention and focused anyway. But you will know what it cost. You will know what it demanded. You will know that you did not buy your future cheaply. You paid for it in the highest currency known to humanity, the conquest of self, and that is the only conquest that can never be taken from you. Empires may fall, wealth may vanish, crowds may forget, but the soul forged in the fires of self-mastery endures forever. That soul is unstoppable. That soul is untouchable. That soul changes everything it touches. You must become that soul. You must become the storm that calms itself, the warrior that disciplines itself, the architect that leads itself. You must refuse to live a life dictated by feelings, because feelings are guests. But you are the master of the house. Feelings are weather, but you are the builder of the shelter. Feelings are noise, but you are the music that drowns them out with the drumbeat of destiny. You must remember every day that you are the one who chooses. No emotion can climb inside you unless you allow it. No fear can chain you unless you yield. No doubt can define you unless you accept it. You are the author of your mind. You are the captain of your soul. And every time you choose action over emotion, vision over fear, discipline over surrender, you write a story the world cannot erase. You inscribe your legacy not in ink, but in fire. You build not monuments of stone, but monuments of spirit. And those monuments, the spirit of resilience, the empire of self-mastery, the kingdom of vision, will outlast the storms of time itself. But only if you build, only if you choose. Not once, not twice, every single day. The future is waiting. The world is waiting. The dreams that called you long before fear ever touched you, they are still waiting. Waiting for you to rise above emotion. Waiting for you to step into power. Waiting for you to move. Not because you feel ready, but because you are ready. And you are ready. You have always been ready. You were not born to be ruled by your emotions. You were born to master them. You were born to lead them. You were born to transmute them into a force so fierce that no mountain can stand before you. No storm can outlast you. No darkness can silence you. But only if you decide, only if you declare, only if you rise now, not tomorrow, not someday now. The world will always belong to those who act while others hesitate. The world will always remember those who rise while others retreat. Be one of them. Be the one who rose. Be the one who conquered. Be the one who refused to let fear, doubt, anger, sadness, or hesitation define them. Because the truth is simple. Most people fail because they let emotions control them. You will succeed because you chose differently. You chose to lead yourself. You chose to master yourself. You chose to live by the sacred fire of discipline, the unwavering force of vision, the unbreakable loyalty to purpose. You chose to become unstoppable. And now the world must yield, because the world cannot defeat a soul that commands itself. And you are that soul. Now rise, move, lead, build, conquer. The world is waiting for your light to break through the storm, and you are ready. Now go, master yourself or be mastered forever.